Hi guys, welcome back. It's now episode 29 of the series, and we are finally getting around to designing some yellow science today. Just to recap, we have spent the last few episodes in the creative world where I do all of my base testing and a lot of my base designing as well, because it's just much easier to do this with items that I don't have to necessarily have on hand back in the vanilla map. But we've done red and green signs over here, military portions in this area over here. In the last couple of episodes, we've recently done blue science and purple science. Purple is here, blue is here, which we just got done last episode. And now we're going to move on to yellow, which we still have yet to get on the vanilla map. So this will be the first design of my yellow science for the 0.17 patch. So I'm hoping that this will go okay. I think we already have a lot of the pieces already to go. As I talked about last episode, we already have kind of an engine design I already like, so we'll just kind of modify it for the purposes of yellow science. But in terms of the blue circuits and low density structures, I don't plan on building that on site. That's already built kind of in other factories around the base, so it's just a matter of making sure we're producing enough of it and then bringing those products to the yellow science factory. So going back to the calculator, let's bring that over here. I've got it so it's only showing the products needed for yellow science to produce 120 per minute, or 2 packs per second, which is the goal for all of the sciences recently. So we will need, again, because we'll be rounding up, 19 assemblers going into production of the yellow packs themselves. We're going to ignore the ones for blue circuits and low density structures because that's produced off-site. Over here, though, are the ingredients that we're really going to be looking at for this actual factory. So we're going to want to produce things that will be going into the robot frames, which will be requiring pipe, gear wheels, engines, electrical engines, and then, of course, the actual assemblers for the robot frames. It will take 18 assemblers for the robot frames because we're also running up on that, 9 for each of the engine components, and then we will only need 1 assembler for each pipes and iron gear wheels. So with that said, let's start getting to work. I think we're going to start with the engine portion, and then it will just be laying out the rest of the products. Okay, yellow science, let's start laying something down. I think we'll start with my pre-made blueprint and then modify it from here. Let's see, we'll have steel coming on one side, just like we would do over here. So in fact, let me copy this. We'll put steel to the very far left, like that. And like that. We'll have, let's see, how do I have it over here on this side? In fact, maybe what I should be copying is this thing here. This might be smarter. But again, we only need actually 1 machine for pipes and 1 for iron gear wheels. And then for the engines, we need 9, and then 9 also for the electrical engine. So that's really not too bad. Let's see, so pipe. And iron gear wheels just on top of that. Should be perfect. Although actually, to make it more symmetrical, maybe we'll put the pipe thing over there. Like so, maybe? I'm trying to remember how I had this when I played with JD. Unfortunately, I didn't think to blueprint it at the time. So we'll get rid of that. This is where the iron gear wheels can come in, I think. There we go. Iron gear wheels will pop out there. Okay. Requester chest. In fact, let's do the creative chest, which is... we'll do this thingy here. That goes in there, and then we need a void chest to go right there, and we can start giving this stuff some power, I think, right there. And what else does this need? So this will also need steel, batteries, green circuits, and of course the engines. All right. Well, let me double check my ratios here. So we've got the one machine for gear wheels. We've got the one machine for pipes. Now we'll need 9 for regular engines. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we need one more. 9 should do it. So we need to fix this. There we go. This will extend down a little bit here. There we go. And then for the actual, whatchamacallits, the assemblers going into the robot frames, we're going to need 18 of those. So we'll need, this will be the tricky part. I think this is the same problem I ran into when JD and I did this. So I think I need to move this over by a tile, which sucks. So we're going to copy this, get rid of it, delete it. Let's try right there. And let's see, how do I want to do this? So I'm trying to learn from my mistakes here. Because these need to be doubled, because we'll need 18. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yes, so this will be 18. So we could do something like this to get the engines all the way over there. So that would cover electrical engines. We do need to worry about the other 3 components though, the steel plate, the batteries, and the electronic circuits, which the problem with this is I run out of an output. Yeah, this wouldn't work because I at least need an extra line for another resource. Bummer. Okay, scratch this idea. What I could do is put now like lanes in the middle here for, you know, green circuits, the steel, and then the batteries, and then they would just both share from the side. So that might be the easiest thing to do. In fact, I think that's what we will do. So we'll have it go like that, perhaps, for feeding the engines into either one of those, and then it will just pick the other 3 items from these lanes here, and then they can also output into a lane there. I think I like that. Whoops, I probably shouldn't have done that. I should do this thing here first. So let's just copy what I've got going here like this to all of them. Whoop, there we go. And no need to have direct insertion of the electric engines into this thing anymore since we're just having it feed from both lanes. Although I guess technically I could make it a little bit more compact if I do direct insertion from this side. I could get rid of this and move it over by a tile. Let me think about that. That might be too complicated. Because we still need to plan on our inputs, our other resources. Ooh. Although I could, ooh. Now I'm thinking. Let's see. Let's get rid of these electrical poles. Whoops. Sometimes I just can't make up my mind what I want to do. Oh, but that wouldn't work because then I don't have enough space for the direct inserter. Okay, so that will not work. Scratch that idea yet again. I'm not seeing a really convenient way to make it more compact. So that's okay. This plan should still work. And let's put in the recipes here. There we go. And I feel like this is slightly off balance because we're missing an assembler. That should go right there. Maybe we'll put a RoboPort there or something like that just to take up the empty space. All right, here, so we can put in the power poles back. Before we put the power poles in here, let's, at this point, let's worry about our inputs of the other 3 products. Okay, electrical engines, check. But we also need green circuits, batteries, and steel. And how much of each do we need? Okay, so we'll... Whoopsie, okay. 2 batteries, 1 steel plate. Okay, so maybe I'll fit the, let's see, the steel and the electronic circuits together. I guess it really doesn't super matter, it seems like. Okay, for testing purposes, let's use our matter sources here. We're going to do steel there. We'll do green circuits here. Like that. That means this has to be batteries and then, ooh, okay, so maybe I don't have enough room for a shared output, which is actually okay. All right, this is the batteries. Batteries will have go like that. Although maybe I should, actually what I'll do, let's make green circuits. Let's do this one for green circuits. Let's do this one for batteries. Just because it will take 3 green circuits, whereas it will only take 2 batteries per thing. There we go. Let's suck all that up. Okay. Fixed. All right, so this is how we'll have it divvied up here. In terms of the output, though, we'll have an output on either side, I think. So this is how we'll use up some of this saved up room over here. We'll have to get rid of these power poles again, it looks like, and figure out power in just a second. Let's use these. And then we can put the power poles right here conveniently in the middle. Very nice. Can get rid of that one. And this side should be getting everything. So this one will be an easy output lane because we don't have to worry about like the belts weaving in and out and stuff like that. Output there, 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 and there. Very nice. Looking quite compact and aesthetically pleasing, in my opinion. Very nice. So again, power. We're adding. All right, I like it. So I think that's all of the ingredients taken care of. Let's turn it on though now. So we'll have, whoop, there we go. Let's experiment. What are we missing? Oh, iron. I totally forgot about that part. Okay, so we do need to worry about how this machine gets iron as well as this machine. Not a humongous steel. In fact, what goes over here? What did I have going over here? Anything? I don't know. What comes on this lane here? So this should be green circuits, I guess. Okay. That means green circuits have to be on the left side like this. So green circuits right there and right there. The engines will spit out on the other portion of the lane here. And then in terms of the, whatchamacallit, the iron, we could actually do some belt braiding there. If we want to just keep it like in line there, which is not a big deal for me. I know some of you guys don't like the belt braiding. We'll do our iron input right there. We shouldn't need more than I think half a lane. There we go. There's the other half of the iron coming into the iron gear wheel machine. Should start working now, theoretically, I would imagine, in just a minute. It looks like it's getting the lube. It's getting the green circuits. It's just missing the engines at this point. So this will take a minute to warm up simply as a result of it just taking so long to produce everything. It takes 20 seconds to produce one robot frame machine. It takes 10 seconds to produce one electric engine machine. And then, of course, we still have to worry about the actual setup of the yellow science assemblers themselves. So we'll make sure this works, but in the meantime, oh, we do have to worry about like joining up the robot frames. So these will be warming up. I wish there were a way to make this more compact. Okay, but yellow science. So we'll need 19 assemblers for yellow science. And what we could do, 19 is an odd number. We can use that as the odd number portion. And let's see. We can have maybe blue circuits and, oh, I don't know. I'm thinking. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, so that's not what we want. We want... Let's just try this. So that should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's 18, and we need 19. That could be our 19th, I suppose, right there. All right, are these working yet? These are, oh, I totally forgot about the, oops, the long-handed inserters that I'm missing. Crap. Crap. How do I get it all power? This is like exactly a repeat of my problems that I had in the multiplayer series. That means at the very like furthest point, I have to put power via substations right here in order for these things all to get power. I don't think that's the end of the world, so let's, we'll copy this just in case and we'll delete it. Let's solve the power crisis first. So, let's see, substations. So we need like a substation here-ish. And we'll do it there. Okay. Now things will start working properly. Now the robot frames are working. Okay, good. So this can continue along this way. Join up somehow with this here. We can even do a splitter if we want. So that is the frame solved. We'll have to figure out where we want them to go exactly. That is the tricky part. Let's put them there. Let's figure out a better way to join this thingy up. Actually, we may not have to join them up. We could just leave that there. And have that go all the way. Maybe we'll get rid of that, so there will be a little bit of a gap there. That's okay. Oh, but I do need to move these over by a tile, it looks like. So copy this. That will get deleted. This goes over by 1. Let's put in the recipes now. So this is yellow science, yellow science. That will go there to stay in line with the assemblers up here. And we can move this over by a tile-ish just to keep it also fairly consistent with how we have it over here, since it's spaced over by 2 tiles worth. Okay, there's the robot frames covered. Now we just need to add in the processing units and the low density structures, which I will just share those on a lane, I suppose. We'll see if we can get enough throughput of that. So we'll have an extra lane here. Ooh, I might run into a problem here. That needs to go over maybe like by a tile. That's better. Whoops. Let's put in our matter sources here. So we'll have 2 lanes. We'll have one, basically will be identical lanes like this. Like that and that. What is going on? Oh, it just doesn't have an output. That is what's wrong. Add in the inserters. Let's keep everything consistent if we can. The outputs, let's grab some blue inserters for those. Outputs like this. Very nice. This we have to split off though in some fashion. All right, we need to get more power to it. We could do substations and just add some underground belts, but I think we'll stick with, maybe we will just do substations. Why the heck not? Like that. We'll just change the outputs for a couple of these right there. Looking good. All right, so there is yellow science technically done. Now it's just a matter of putting in the source void thingy, this thing here, and doing testing. So we'll let this continue to warm up over the next couple minutes, and then we'll be back just to confirm the production statistics. Well, it has been a couple minutes to warm up, and I've also spent that time tweaking and improving a couple of things. One of the more noticeable things is that I've actually downgraded my assemblers. I was originally using the assembler 3s for this design, but that was not intentional. It was something that I kind of completely spaced out on. So I've noticed that error, and I've downgraded them to the assembler 2s because I was intentionally meaning to produce 120 per minute with just the assembler 2 products, since that's what I have on hand at the vanilla regular main base. So that way, eventually when we get to assembler 3 tech, it'll just be an improvement. We'll actually be producing more than 120 per minute, so it'll just be kind of a bonus at this point. But this was intended to be 2 packs per second or 120 per minute with just these products that we're seeing here. So that was part one of what I tweaked. The other thing is that I actually ended up implementing a loop design here with the robot frames. And the reason why I did this was because I noticed that this assembler in particular just wasn't getting the ability to pick up the robot frames, because this long-handed inserter here is just a touch slower than the other inserters, so it just wasn't picking up the robot frame that was getting spit out by these 2 assemblers here. So this one hadn't produced anything, even though I was getting a buildup of my robot frames over on this lane here where it ended. So in order to counteract that problem, I ended up with creating a loop system, which I know some people just fundamentally are against and hate it, but I noticed that that's helped to improve my problem and allow this assembler to have the inserter pick up the robot frames and feed it in. So they are now fully working. It won't be 100% uptime with all of these assemblers because I'm technically using 19 instead of just the 18 that, or 18.5 or whatever it was that told me on the calculator. So there will be a little bit of downtime, but that does also mean that I should technically be able to produce the 120 at least per minute now. So with that said, now let's take a look at the graph. So let's look over at the 1 minute interval for starters. And the yellow is bouncing around a little bit, but it looks like I'm producing at least 120 per minute for the most part. In fact, I'm actually overproducing a little bit. The robot frames and the electric engine units should be about 40 per minute, which it looks like these are at a fairly consistent interval. But let's take a look at the 10-minute interval, though, which is a little bit more reliable over the long term. And take a look at that. I'm producing 122 per minute. Like we said, I ran it up with my assemblers because I would much rather overproduce than underproduce, and this is right on the money for what I would be looking for. So that is fantastic. I'm so pleased with this. And the factory looks really nice. So that would mean that all of my sciences are designed now. That really means the last thing we have to do is just take all of these designs, blueprint them, and then build them back at the regular vanilla base that we're working on for the 0.17 series. That will all be done in next episode, or at least start to get done in next episode. I don't know that we'll get all of them actually built. We'll also have to worry about some sort of lab setup, which I am not 100% sure how we're going to pull that off quite yet, but we're going to have to figure that out at some point. Before we go, though, let's take a look at all of the production statistics for all of the sciences, just to make sure we've got all of the bases covered. So let's get rid of that and that. And let's re-highlight all of the sciences here just to make sure, like double check that it's exactly where I want it to be. All right, red science, definitely overproducing on this, but that is okay. Red science is at 126 per minute. Purple is at 122, yellow is at 122, blue is at 120-ish. Military science is at exactly 120 per minute. Blue science is lagging a touch behind every once in a while. It kind of alternates between 119 and 120. But you'll see that between all of these sciences, I'm at where I was hoping I would be. So I'm just thrilled with how they turned out. And that means I'm really looking forward to episode 30, because then we'll actually start to see how this works in the vanilla Real series. So I hope you guys will stick around for that. In the meantime, thank you guys for joining me as always, and I will plan on seeing you in about a week for episode 30.